What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Listen, today we'll be talking. Sorry, I'll be talking about communication and why communication is important. And I feel like why majority of people struggle with communication. So I think I was watching a video, and then I'll post it probably in a day or two. I'll post the video. So it was like this. I think it was a poly relationship. No, this one guy, he had four wives. Yes, four wives. And out of the whole video, the one thing I got out of it was the way they sat down. All four of them, all four of the women, including the men, right? Which make five, and how they sat down and reflect and conversate with each other, right? And in a basic, just man and woman relationship, a lot of people don't do that. And the way, just that small moment that they took to speak to each other and communicate with each other, how it helped them, right? So I think one of the women, she said, "Oh, I feel like I don't get enough time," right? And the other didn't get mad. They was like, "Okay, what can we do to, make sure you get more time? How can I?" And the man, the husband, asked her, "What can I do so we can spend more time together?" Right? And then they had a conversation. They say, "Oh, do more of this, less of that, and make more time in that way, right? Do more of that for me, right?" So, and then that alone showed me that the relationship they have is it's very strong, it's very firm, because they can speak to each other on a regular basis, on at a normal level, and see each other eye to eye instead of shouting at each other, instead of being all loud and rambunctious, right? So then, if and one thing I've realized, even with myself, that when I speak to people, or let's say I'm speaking to somebody who's very loud and aggressive, I don't raise my voice, because raising my voice will just ignite them even more. So what I have to do, I just keep at my tone. It's like if you're speaking to a young lady who's very loud, you speak at a regular tone. And trust me, she won't be loud for too long. Yeah, la, la. You say, "Okay, listen, speak to me. It's only me and you over here. So speak at a regular tone, then we can speak." And if she don't do that, you don't say nothing. I'm gonna just look at her like she got 10 heads. And that's just with anybody. Somebody want to get loud, okay, you could get loud. I'm gonna just look at you like like got 1,000 heads, because I'm just not doing that. And that's one side of it. That's the non-verbal side of it, right? But the verbal side of it, where you have to speak to somebody, what is the problem? How can we fix this problem? What can I do to better the situation that we have? If you have a friend, okay, what did I do wrong to make you rebel against me? Then they give their part, then you give your part. Then you see, okay, how can we get on a level playing field and see, okay, we both did wrong, but how can we move on and forgive each other for what we done? Like just the small things. And I see, even with couples, like let's say I'm just around a couple, I would see they would argue over the smallest things, because they lack the communication between each other. Like if the woman says something, the man starts shouting, or the woman starts shouting, it just wouldn't go right. Right? Like in any conversation I have, I always try to keep a low tone. Speak to people like, at a room level, voice. So raising your voice and shouting won't really get your way to communicate. It just won't. Right now, if you have to shout at somebody just to get them to listen, that person have, serious problems. If you cannot sit down and communicate with somebody face to face and tell them what a problem that you have and something you're facing, something you're not happy with, you cannot speak to somebody like that. So communication is the reason why men hate women, women hate men. That's why. That's because we don't have the basic communication to speak to each other. We don't have it. So that's why we keep bumping heads so much. That's exactly why. If we fix the communication part on both ends, men and women, relationships will be in a better place. Because then people can speak freely on how they feel and what they want. Tell their true intentions. Right? And I think I was watching another video, and this one guy was saying, I think about the O'Malley video. I don't know if that's his name. And he said, I think something came out in there. They said that the girlfriend asked the boyfriend, "Do you want me to go on the stage? Are you okay with me going on the stage?" He said yes, right? And then his girl went on the stage, and then she did what she did. Everybody saw what she did, right? I'm not a fan of it. I wouldn't like that. I just wouldn't. That's just not something that would sit right with me. But again, if he communicated with her that, no, I don't want you going there. I don't want you doing that. No, I will not be okay with that. So therefore, moving forward, okay, if she go up there, I told her what it is already. So then I don't have to repeat myself to her anymore. Because I told her, I don't want you going up there. I don't want you doing that. So if she go up there and she do whatever she want, okay, now I know where we stand now. Then I wouldn't feel bad. It's like if you meet a young lady and she asks you, what do you want? Are you gonna lie to her? Oh, I really like you. Yes, I want to build something with you. Knowing deep down you don't want to build nothing with the woman. Why would you lie? Why? Just to sleep with her? Like, ask yourself this question. What would it do for you? So you see how the basic conversation skills we need, people are lacking it. Just to tell somebody the truth, just to tell somebody how you actually feel, we're lacking that. People just cannot be honest. Why? Or even just speaking to people in general. A lot of people just can't speak. They don't know how to speak to people. Either they and that's majority. Either they're just aggressive people for no reason. They just speak aggressively for no reason, which that have to do with the environment you grow in as well. But apart from that, you still could change that. You still could communicate with people on a level where it wouldn't get out of hand. And even though you're in trouble, there's a lot of times where I could have been in a lot of trouble, in deep trouble, but I know how to speak to people. I communicate how I feel about something and why I did what I did, and that's my reason for doing it. Right? And yeah, I save myself a lot of trouble just knowing how to speak to people. Right? So the communication thing is really not a tough thing. You must just know what you want, say what you want, say how you feeling about something. Just be honest. That's it. Be honest and forward with the way you feel about something. If you feel like you don't like it, you don't like it. Don't say it to please other people, because then you're killing your communication for somebody else, just to please somebody else. Right? So if you really look at it, it actually starts from you just saying the truth. Okay? If you say the truth, what are people gonna say? You communicating the truth. That's how you feel. So then, if people stay, people know who they dealing with. Who they actually dealing with. Not if you lie and tell them, some nonsense just to make them like you or make them want to be around you. So the basic conversation skills is needed, man. It is needed. Right? So now I'm gonna go to Google and we're gonna speak on it. Get the definition of it. The definition of communication. The important or exchange of information or news. Right? Just like I said, if I speak to somebody, they tell me how they feel. I give my hold on. Let me go to the board real quick, man. Okay, that's the board right here. So listen. I'm bring the camera a little closer. Okay. So okay, all right. So let's say that's me. And that's somebody else right here. We communicating, right? I'm gonna put communi, right? We communicating, right? So then hold on. Okay. We communicating. If they give their point on how they feel about something, so they tell me how they feel about something, right? Okay, I give my point of view on it. Right? So they give their part, I give mine. So therefore, we gonna come to a common ground. When I give my part and they give their part, we have to come to a common ground and see, okay, how can we see eye to eye? Even though we disagree, but how can we see, okay, where I'm coming from and where that person is coming from? And therefore the respect, it builds a mutual respect. Builds a mutual respect. Tell you why? Because the person gave their opinion and they communicate their opinion to me. I communicate my opinion to them. So therefore they respect me because now we have a overstanding of each other and why we think the way we think. Right? We might be different people, right? So the respects come from that, that level ground that we have. That's where it comes from. And tell you what, my views might not change. That person's views might not change. Right? But the way we view each other might change. Why? Because we came to a common ground. We try our best to understand each other instead of arguing and cussing at each other and fighting. Right? Instead of fighting, we're like, okay, tell you what, let's actually sit down. Let's communicate this conversation. So let's communicate this problem. Right? Let's speak on it. Let's see, okay, what is the problem? But majority of people don't do that. Majority of people just go to that. Right? And arguments. Right? People, people just straight argue. That's all they do. People just argue, either fight or argue. So if you're more mature, you come right here and you say, okay, let's speak about it. But again, a lot of people are not ready for that. A lot of people, for this right here, a lot of people are not ready. A lot of people are not ready. Tell you why? Because people are so accustomed to doing this. People are so accustomed to fighting and arguing all the time. They have no time to actually sit down and see, okay, let me take the time out and actually sit down and speak on this problem. So, and with any relationship, if we do more of this right here, more of this, if we speak on our problems more, communicate our problems more, just on average communicate with people more, of each other more, we wouldn't have these. We wouldn't have no fights. We wouldn't have no arguments. We'll have disagreements, right? We'll disagree with each other. Right? We'll definitely disagree, for sure. We'll definitely disagree. But then, when we come to that common ground, like I tell you, when we come to that common ground, right here, it's good because then it builds respect. It builds respect between the two of us. And like I said earlier, we might disagree. But at the end, we build respect for each other, because then we both sit down and speak on the problem, speak on how we feel. We communicate to each other how we truly feel about whatever we're talking about. I communicate to that person communicate back to me. Right? And if you communicate that, we wouldn't have none of that. That would be out the window. That right there would be out. We wouldn't have none of that. We wouldn't have. But in order for us not to have the fighting and arguing, we should be ready. We shouldn't like that. We shouldn't like not being ready to have these conversations between two people or even a group. Right? So that's my example on it. I just wanted to just give my 2 cents on communication. I hope that makes sense the way I broke it down. I know it's a little hectic, but and that's why majority of relationships suffer. Not even men to women, just people in general, because people lack the basic communication skills. People cannot speak to each other, right? And that's why it's such a problem. And that's why people argue all the time. They fight all the time because they lack in communication. They cannot speak to each other. They cannot be mature enough and say, okay, tell you what, let's figure this problem. Let's sit down. I sit down. Let's speak. Right? And I was speaking to a young lady, and I didn't get into arguing with her. She started getting all loud. And all I did, that's all I did. I just lay back. It's like, oh, you're not gonna say nothing? What do I have to say when you're shouting? Okay, if you sit down, we can speak and we can see what the problem is. But I'm telling you, a lot of them not ready for that. Right? So you see, when you get to a certain level of maturity and you see just stuff like arguing is childish, like people are not ready for that. Because people literally lose their mind when they see you that's peaceful, when they all fessed up already. When you're actually ready to say, okay, well, I'm willing to hear you out. But if you sit down and we speak and we can see, okay, what's the problem? We can actually do that. But again, they're not ready for that. They're not ready to sit down and be put in the mirror in their face and say, okay, that's where you went wrong. And they put in the mirror in my face. If you put the mirror in my face, I'm perfectly fine. I'm okay with that. Because I'm okay with improving myself. I'm okay with, getting criticized. I'm okay. I'm fine with that. But a lot of people are not ready for these kind of things. So people like that, you either they change and we start having these kind of conversations, or you cannot speak to people like that because they're not ready. So you just let them be. You let them live in their own delusion. Right? And that's what I have to say about communication. I actually wanted to speak more on it, but I'm gonna end the video right there. I'm gonna probably do a part 2. If you want to see me, speak more in depth on communication, I'll do another video on it. You could just, leave it down in the comment. Tell me what you think. But if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.